15 minutes. I was in a little wash. I saw what looked like a meteorite, and that day we were just using a magnet on a stick because she didn't have a detector, and I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. We just wanted to go look. Okay, I touched my magnet to it, and it stuck. Well, that doesn't mean it's a meteorite, but I picked it up and looked at it, and I knew it was a meteorite. So I set it back down in that little indentation, and she took pictures, so it was all documented. So I actually got credit for finding a third meteorite, and they named it Golden Gate Mountain because it's out, they were in the view of Golden Gate Mountain. So all my meteorites have the word gold in them. And that was just amazing that I found it. But the U of A classified it, and it's a meteorite. But we only found one, and of course we've been back and have not found any more. So it may have just washed down the wash. I don't know. What time is it? Oh, got time.
It's a hobby and you want to do it. Where can we go to verify that it is, though?
Oh,
That is a hard question to answer these days.
right. Where could you get your meteorite classified if you think you have a meteorite? And it is difficult now because maybe you saw the meteorite TV show series called Meteorite Men. It's still on YouTube if you want to see any of them. And one of them is about Gold Basin. It was after Jim died, and I got to go up and watch them film it and answered some questions for them. So it's one of those reality shows. It was real, but it was during the show they say, wow, this one could be worth $10,000. And they went on and on during the show like that. And so people started mailing or bringing rocks to the universities all over the country and wherever else you would take them, all over the world, I suppose. And they were inundated with people. And I didn't mind the ones you bought today. I loved it. But the universities, are busy, and that costs a lot of money to actually get out all that equipment and test it. So, plus the people would say, I want it back. Well, they would mail it to them, and it's not a meteorite. Well, the U of A is not going to mail all this stuff back to people. So basically, if you call the U of A now and maybe other schools, it says, and we do not classify meteorites. Now, if you know somebody, well, like me, for instance, or Larry, or anybody that can say, yeah, that's probably a meteorite, we would call the U of A and tell the people we know, we think a meteorite's coming in, will you look at it? And they will, but unfortunately, that's what happened. Correct?
Yeah, but it's actually even worse than that. One of the people at the University of Arizona was threatened with bodily harm because he basically said, yes, I had a meteorite, I gave it to you, and you gave me back a ordinary rock. You stole my meteorite from me. And that basically shut down the U of A in general from doing random, hi, bring in a meteorite for me. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Dave Kring told me that he saw something like 1,000 rocks that people brought in before Gold Basin was brought in, and it was the first meteorite that was confirmed. But he saw literally 1,000 rocks that looked like meteorites but weren't before he actually confirmed that it was a meteorite.
Okay, I promise this is my last story, but it's kind of funny. Whenever somebody would call Jim Cree up and, is this a meteorite, he would invite them over, and you saw how nice and patient he was, a nice man. Bring it over, and he would talk to them, tell them why it wasn't, give them a real one, and send them on their way. Well, he would always call me. I was just 3 houses away. And so one day, he said, someone wants to, so I went over to Jim's house. And first, I need to preface this with, there was a meteorite that landed on a car in Peekskill, New York. It landed on a red car, just to give you to ruin the story. Okay, so the man showed Jim a rock, and it was a black rock, like it had some red jasper on it, and it was black. And so on the way out, I was walking home, and I walked out with the man, and I said, so what made you think this was a meteorite? Really nice. I said it nicely. And he said, well, on the internet, there's a black rock with a red streak on it, and this looks just like it. So he had seen the Peekskill rock with the red streak on it, a picture of it. So that was kind of funny. I said, well, I guess you did well then by checking it out. Okay.
Any other questions? Well, I guess I'll let you say thank you, and thank you very much.
Okay.
I actually questioned something you can answer.
Good questions and good answers. Who knows?